Hi friends, Cindy Lyon here again from Greetings and Memories. And for today's Tuesday video, we're going to talk a little bit about two-step stamping and DistINKtive stamps. If you haven't ever heard of those or you've just seen them flipping through the catalog and didn't really know quite what that meant, I will be showing you. So I'm going to demonstrate today with the Delicate Dahlias set. Since it is now fall, and I think of dahlias as a fall flower. My grandpa used to have those in his garden. Anyway, this is one of the stamp sets that is almost gone. You can choose that as a gift with purchase during Celebration, but Celebration ends September 30th. So time is running out to get this particular set, but we do have obviously other DistINKtive and two-step stamps available in our annual catalog as well. So give you a couple of tips about using those. So our Delicate Dahlias stamp has both outline stamps and fill stamps that are in that DistINKtive style. And they can be combined together, but they can also be used on their own. So I'm going to show you all three ways in today's video. So we can get the lighting a little better here. It's hard to get good light and also not get glare, but there, I think that's a little better there. So let me start out with our outline stamps and show you how you can use just those on their own. I'm going to use the larger dahlia here. And set that out of the way a little bit. And use the Gorgeous Grape stamping pad. Ink that up. And do a couple of the large dahlias here, kind of let it go off the edge of my cardstock. And re-ink that and flip it around, and I'll do one over here. And then I'll do another one up here towards the top. And then we'll clean this one off using the Stampin' Chamois here. I don't know if I mentioned it before. Back when I first got the chamois, I wasn't sure if I liked it better than the Stampin' Scrub or not, because it seemed to dry out all the time and I kept having to run to the sink and re-moisten it. But I have since discovered that if I store it inside of a stamp case and then keep that case closed when I'm not using it, that it actually stays damp for days on end. So there's another little tip for you. But okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take this smaller flower that, not sure what that is. I can picture it, but I can't remember the name of the flower I'm thinking of. But I'm going to go in now, move that Gorgeous Grape out of the way. And I'm going to use some Bumblebee because that golden yellow is kind of the opposite color on the color wheel for purple. So we're going to fill in a few of those here and there. And let's get one right there. And yeah, let's call it good right there. I want to leave it a little bit of room yet so I can fill in with some leaves. So go ahead and take that outline leaf and mount that on one of my clear blocks. And open up the Evening Evergreen ink pad. And we'll just fill in the open spaces there with some leaves. And we'll sneak one in right there. And see if I can get one kind of in the middle here a little bit. And that's okay if your images overlap. And I'll do one down here, but I'll turn it the other way. Okay, we'll call that good enough. Clean the ink off of that one there. And I know a lot of times in these videos, I just show you the technique and then I don't complete the card while I'm recording. But I decided this time I'll go ahead and finish up the card for you. And then you can let me know in the comments what you like better. If you like seeing the whole card, or if you like a shorter video where I just show you the basic technique and then post the completed card later. But like I said, I'm working with the gorgeous grape for my card base and some bumblebee gingham ribbon here. So I'm still working with our purple and our yellow. Get us a bow here. Looks like I can make that a little bit shorter. Yeah, I think I recently mentioned that I don't cut my ribbon off of the roll until after I tie my bow. Then that way, if it's too short, I can just unroll a little bit more. And I'm not trimming off and wasting any ribbon if I've made it too long. So just get my bow here. And can even this up a little bit. And I am going to trim the ends a little bit. Use my snips here and give it a nice angled trim. And I'm going to adhere that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's pop a few of those in the corners there. And then a couple more towards the middle. If I can get that backing off, there we go. It's being a little stubborn there. Move that ribbon out of the way, so I'm not going to use any more of that. And get this lined up here as best I can without leaning in too far. And then I'm going to scooch that ribbon over a little bit. And kind of play with that bow a little bit. It's not wanting to lay the way I want it to lay. There, that's a little better, I guess. And then I've already pre-stamped the sentiment from the stamp set. There's a few of them in there. It's got this one that says, "Oh, so happy for you. Thank you kindly. You inspire me." And then the one down here says, "Sending heartfelt sympathy." So I decided to start out with a happy card. And put some dimensionals on the back of that as well. Put that just like that. And then I have been having fun using these little bumblebee trinkets. So I'm going to add one of those to my card as well. I'll grab a glue dot to put it on with. I'll just press that bee onto the roll. Oops, it's sticking out a little bit there. And there's card number 1 done using just the outline portion of our stamp set. So we move that out of the way. Move this stuff out of the way. And now I'll show you the next card using the DistINKtive stamps instead. And we'll talk a little bit about how those work. Okay, so I've put my outline images back into the case, and now we're going to use the fill images or the DistINKtive stamps. And I don't know if you can see, mount that on here, but the DistINKtive stamps, how they're made is they have some areas that are going to pick up a little bit more ink and some areas that will pick up a little bit less ink, so that you get kind of a 3D or a little bit more of a realistic looking image. I don't know if you can see that. I'll move it down here a little more. But yeah, so that's what that means, and stamps are labeled as DistINKtive. They have that special texture to them. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this one in the Highland Heather. Ink that up there. And stamp that kind of towards the corner here. And because that's a larger stamp, just to make sure I get a good impression, I'm going to give it a good press with the flat of my hand. There, can you see now what I'm talking about? How you've got some areas with a little less color kind of highlighted, and then you have other areas where the ink is darker. So it gives you a little bit more of a realistic look. We'll clean this one off again. And then I want to get the DistINKtive leaf image here and add a little bit of that in the soft succulent green. And we'll just add some leaves kind of along the edges here. And clean that one off. And then this one I am going to turn into a sympathy card. So I'm going to use the stamp here that says "Sending Heartfelt Sympathy." And I'm using the grid lines on my paper here to get that mounted straight. And I was going to stamp it with Memento Black, but I've changed my mind. I want to use gray. So see if I can quickly find my gray ink pad here. And it looks like I actually haven't even used this smoky slate colored stamp pad yet, because it's still in its plastic. Okay. Stamp that there. Like I said, I thought that just called for a little bit softer look than the black. And then I've already prepared the base for that with some thick basic white, and I've done a layer of the smoky slate, and I added a little texture to that with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And again, I like to use dimensionals, so we'll pop a few of those on here. And that's it for our sympathy card, using the DistINKtive Stamps without the outline. And now I'll go ahead and do one more card for you using both the DistINKtive Stamps and the outline combined together. And it looks like I forgot to grab a piece of white cardstock to stamp on, so be right back. So I've cut a half sheet of basic white cardstock, and we're going to stamp this big flower again with the DistINKtive stamp portion inked in Highland Heather. And now we'll clean this off and we'll swap them out. And yep, keep looking for that same little corner there so I can line them up. And now I'm going to swap that out for the outline stamp, and we'll close up the Highland Heather. I'll go ahead and close up this bumblebee pad too, since I'm not going to be using that again. But we're going to ink up our outline with the darker Gorgeous Grape ink. And then here's the little bit tricky part with the two-step stamp, is I need to find where to line it up here. So what I'm doing is I've got these two little petals here that kind of face each other that match up here. And that's where I'm kind of trying to line that up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get it close. And which is hard to do without leaning my head under the camera. So we'll call that good enough. And there you can see the difference when you combine the two stamps together. So now I want to do the same thing with my leaves. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to stamp these and then cut them out and layer them. So it doesn't matter how I arrange them on the paper, since I'll be cutting them out. And I want to do 2 leaves because I'm not sure if I'm going to use 1 or 2 on my final card design. So I'll stamp 2 just so I have them. I'm going to clean that and put it away. And grab the outline image. And I'll ink that up with the darker Evening Evergreen ink. Let's see if I can get it lined up a little bit better on the second try. There we go. And as I said, I'm going to cut those out and finish the card. So I'll turn the camera off while I do that and be back in a minute. Okay, since our Delicate Dahlias stamp set does not have a coordinating die set, I did have to hand cut these pieces, which I actually enjoy doing, but it can be kind of boring to watch. So I turned the camera off during that part. So I've got my large Highland Heather dahlia there and a couple of sets of leaves. And I've already prepared a card base with basic white and a layer of the Highland Heather print that comes in the hand-penned Designer Series paper package. And I went ahead and stamped the sentiment on a little label there from the Tasteful Labels dies. So again, going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'll just add a few of those around on the back of my flower. And figure out how I want to position that here. Kind of down towards the corner. And now with these guys, I want to tuck them under and just have them stick up a little bit. So I'm going to put dimensionals on that larger center leaf and put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom part here. And I'm using my silicone mat so I don't get adhesive all over my work surface, and just have it on the bottom part of the leaf there where I want it. Okay, so I can peel that backing off of the dimensional and tuck that leaf under there. And we'll do the same thing with this one down here. Yeah, I guess we'll do it kind of here. And then, you know what? I think I need some mini dimensionals on that one just to make sure they aren't going to show. I could probably squeeze a regular size one on there, but then I'd have them showing around the edges. So I'll use my mini dimensionals this time. I can get the backing off of it now. Wow, that one's being stubborn. Grab another one. What do you think, up here or down here? I think I'll put it up here. So we have our 3 cards. We have this one using just the DistINKtive stamps. This one using just the outline stamps. And then we have this one that layers both and does some 2-step stamping, layering the outline on top of the DistINKtive stamps. So I hope you picked up a couple of new tips there. If you have any questions, go ahead and post those down in the comments, and I will get back with you and answer them as soon as I can. And also let me know, did you prefer seeing the completed cards, or do you prefer a shorter video where I just show you, the quick tip and then share the finished card as a separate post later? So again, this is Cindy with Greetings and Memories. Catch you with you later.